So we have another wonderful comment with 2 questions. And you say, I have 2 questions, Ascendor. If Life Force is doing everything, why do Life Force give some bodies good amount of food, bed and shelter, and other bodies to suffer being homeless with no food or proper clothes to wear? Why do these bodies suffer though they have the same life force in them? Is there any reason to this? This is the first question. The life force itself is neutral, and it expresses itself as everything. It wants to know itself as everything. There are situations where people are hungry, they have no shelter, but that doesn't mean that the life force is punishing them. There are other cases where people are living in abundance. That doesn't mean that they are rewarded by the life force. It is the same life force that wants to know what it feels like to be fire, and at the same time it wants to know what it feels like to be water. It's not a personal thing. It's just the all. Being whole doesn't mean being good. It means recognizing that you are not good. It means recognizing that you are still whole even though people call you an asshole. It means recognizing that if you believe that you are supposed to be good all the time, that means you are lying to yourself. You're not supposed to be good. You're also not supposed to be bad. You recognize that you are not an entirely good being. You're not an entirely bad being. You're not blessed, but you're also not punished. You're whole. You're it. You're the Tao that transcends yin and yang. You're the God that transcends good and evil. And that means there is just this love for everyone. You're not jealous of people because they have more than you. And you don't look down to people because they have less than you. You recognize yourself in everything because you know yourself as the life force itself, as consciousness itself. It is not a punishment when the life force is allowing people to have pain. If those people who are living in those painful circumstances would resist those circumstances, that would become suffering. But the funny thing is the life force is handling it in such a way that people who don't have the luxury that people have in the West, for example, some people in Africa, they don't have a lot of children. They don't have a lot of luxury. Like they don't have things to play with. They don't have like PlayStation, for example, or Netflix or cartoons, and yet they are often happier than children in the West. From the Western individual's perspective, they are living in some kind of disadvantage. But in their eyes, I'm not talking for everybody, but some of them are happier even. So you cannot judge what is actually good and evil, because you don't know what is good and evil. To some extent, you can say this is fair, this is unfair, but fairness and unfairness are also things that the life force wants to experience. What does it feel like to be treated unfair? So you recognize it is whole, has nothing to do with good. And the other question is, how do life force living in all of us are so ignorant about the same life force? So you're saying, if we are all this life force, then why are so many people ignorant to the fact that we are this life force. This life force, or consciousness, the substance of reality, which is love, has to lie to itself to some extent. For it needs to forget what it is, because when you're falling asleep and you're having a dream, let's say you are God and you are constantly doing whatever you want, and it feels boring because you feel so powerful. It's just so boring. Then you decide to just forget who you are, just be some mortal nobody that just seems to be a random appearance in some dead universe, and now you are assuming an identity and you have to show the world who you are just because of the experience. So you forget that you are the life force. You forget that you are life itself. Because you want to know, you want to taste what it feels like to be a person. You have to lie to yourself to feel like you're actually a person. That comes with a price. You constantly have a feeling of something's missing, something ain't right. You have to get things, please your ego, but it's never enough. But at least you have the experience of being a person. At the same time, the same life force knows what it feels like to be fire, water, wind, earth, an animal, a plant, a planet. All of these things are just a form that the life force is assuming. But the substance of those forms is still life itself. And life itself is the substance of everything. When I say life, I mean consciousness. Once you know yourself as consciousness, you cannot go back and just say, no, I'm not consciousness, I'm a person. It doesn't work. Once you're awake, it's just clear. So you are born into this illusion that you are a person to have this experience because it's fun to some extent. Some people have such a big suffering that they're just waking up, like Eckhart Tolle, for example. It's just pure suffering, so they're all of a sudden the brain doesn't think so much anymore, and it's like, peace, and I cannot even explain why. Right? You continue. Why do life force manifesting itself as our bodies, as objects, do not know we are the life force and think we are independent? That's part of the game. Why do life force do this to its objects? There's not life force and its objects. The objects are the life force. The life force is the objects. It's doing it because of Leela. This game of life, because it would be boring to be in this endless, timeless beingness where nothing really happens. We want to experience life. When you're going to the movies, to the cinema, you're watching a horror movie. Why? Or an action movie where people are getting killed. Why? Ask yourself, why am I even paying money to watch some people shooting around with a gun, or a romantic movie where people are having a relationship and you're single? Why are you watching this? Or, it's just because you want to experience. You pay money to experience something negative, but as long as you know that it's not real, it's okay. You're even paying money. That's why the life force is doing what it's doing. It's just because of experience. Why do objects which are our bodies intervene to questions and look inside to understand this? Self-love. We want to understand who we are. Beingness itself manifests itself as objects because it wants to know itself. So it's here, but it's not. We're only able to see the masks. Furniture, walls, windows. It doesn't look like me. But at least there's something, so I can experience something. So I manifested this world because at least now I can look at something, but I'm not able to see underneath the mask. So at first we have to go into this world that consists of us and then ask ourselves, what is it? What is, like scientists are trying to find the fundamental substance of reality because we are all trying to figure out, who am I? We want to understand who we are because we are just the biggest mystery that exists, like the fundamental substance of reality, which is often called love. It's just the biggest mystery, and we have this drive to find things out. We want to know things. We want to investigate the unknown. Why are there so few bodies only know about this, when in fact we are all one? Because it would be boring if everybody would be awake. I believe that's the answer. If it would just be normal to just appear as a human, grow up, and everybody would tell you, we're all one. I don't know if that's in the Hindu tradition. I believe there's this idea of a golden age. Maybe that's a golden age, where it's normal to know, oh, it's all one love, it's one harmony, we're all one. Maybe that's the golden age idea. And according to the Hindu tradition, we are right now in this dark age, I believe, where people are just in this matrix and stuck in identity, trapped, thinking things are serious, me and my life, and it's just so much problems. Dark age, But that's just in theory. It could be true. But I believe that we are here to, for a certain period of time, truly believe that we are people. I am a person and I'm living my life. The life force wants to know what that feels like, to truly believe that this is true. Is this the game of life energy? Yes. If yes, what is the point? The point is beautiful to be, man. It's just beautiful to be. That's the point. Is it not life energy suffering itself manifesting through the human bodies, animals as objects, where humans are killing other animals to eat, and humans fight and kill themselves, doing suicide due to these thoughts? Well, I believe when there's so much negativity that's happening, then that is coming from ignorance. I believe the Hindus, they have put some thought into the theory or into the idea that there could be a golden age and a dark age, because the Hindus know when there's no ignorance, of course there wouldn't be so much murder and suicide and criminal activity. When there would be a golden age and everybody would just know we're one, there's just love, But that doesn't happen. So they say it must be because there is such a thing called the Dark Age. And in the Dark Ages, people don't know that they are this unity. So there is this illusion of separation, which causes it's like it distorts the light, and it makes it seem like it's darkness, even though it is light looking like darkness. It makes it's love looking like fear. It is unity looking like separation. It's a distortion. There's Gnosticism, and they say it's the demiurge's fault because he's like a failed creature, or he's an incomplete creature, an evil creature that is taking the light from Sophia, and or taking spirit, trapping it into matter, and now it's suffering. That's of course just a theory, but it's an interesting one. But in my opinion, when you truly believe that this is me and you're something entirely different, then when I'm truly believing this, then it's pretty easy for me to start a war. The only thing that's holding me back from doing this is feelings and principles. And, you know, it's just believing that things are separate makes it easier to start conflict. That's what I'm trying to say. But when it's seen that things are not separate, there's just life and I am that, then starting conflict is like cutting your own flesh. So it wouldn't make sense anymore. When everything is same life energy, why is it not everything love? It is everything is love. But it's not oxytocin or dopamine or a good feeling or a good hormone that feels like, an elevated state of a bodily sensation, you know? It's just love is not a feeling. Love is the fact that you are. You are. That's love. Sometimes love is tough. Sometimes love feels good. Sometimes it's like showing, it comes in the form of wisdom, and wisdom often comes in the form of pain. You know, that's love. Love should not be mistaken for a good feeling. Please make a video on this. Yes. I would like to hear your thoughts on this. Thank you. And I'm thanking you too. And that was it. So don't forget to like this video, leave a comment, and subscribe. And have a great day.